Now, after the Auditor-General indicated that a significant number of municipal audits had deteriorated, Salga heeded the call. Now, this after less than 10%, if you can recall, 10% of the country's 340 municipalities and their entities obtained clean audits in the 2012-2013 financial year. That was now according to the Auditor-General Kimi Makwetu. Now, the South African Local Government Association unveiled its Municipal Audit Support Program, known as MASP. Joining us now from our Pretoria studios is Salga National Program Director for the Municipal Audit Support, Mohammed Lorgat. Mohammed, good morning to you and welcome to AM News.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
Now, Mr. Lorgat, what would you say are the reasons for municipalities who failed dismally to obtain clean audits?
Okay, there are a couple of factors that need to be considered for the municipalities who did not obtain a clean audit. The prime reasons the Auditor-General has highlighted in his report are mainly three root causes. The one is a lack of political leadership in terms of addressing the root causes from the previous year's Auditor-General's reports. The second key point that the Auditor-General raises is the issue of key vacancies and inappropriate people in certain positions. And the third element that the Auditor-General normally focuses on is the issue of lack of consequences. So year in and year out, many municipalities perform certain actions incorrectly, etc., but there are no consequences for those things. So those are the three major reasons.
Mm-hmm. Now, how is MASP going to help municipalities to meet these mandates or to erase the three problems that you've just highlighted?
Okay. The whole idea of MASP is that basically over a period of time, we hope to assist those municipalities with poor audit outcomes, improve the audit outcomes by focusing on these three areas. So the issue, for example, of leadership is to actually make sure that those that are tasked with governance and oversight in a municipality, both politically and administratively, so your councils, your municipal managers, etc., we're going to make sure that they are properly capacitated, they understand what they're supposed to do, and they then basically fulfill their roles and functions effectively, as one example. The other element of the issue of lack of consequences, Salga, together with the other major role players, National Treasury and the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, are going to be working together in terms of developing a consequence management framework for local government, which will assist them to also ensure that when there's issues that require sanction on the one side, but also incentives on the other side, there are consequences, both positive and negative, that take place. And the third one, for example...
Yes, carry on.
Yes, the third one, which is basically the issue of the lack of skills, or to make sure that the right people are recruited. Salga is going to be working again closely with Treasury and the Department of Cooperative Governance to ensure that at the appointment phase, the right people are appointed, and to also ensure that those people who are currently incumbent in positions are capacitated and the competency is built up so that they can basically fulfill what they're supposed to be doing.
Now, when we talk about the right people being employed, does that mean cadre deployment will fall away?
I think the issue of cadre deployment is obviously at a political level. From a Salga perspective, our message that we want to promote out there is employ the right person for the job. If that person happens to be from the very same political party, that's obviously going to be a bonus for them. Mm-hmm. However, I think the message that we need to say is we need the competent and right people for the right positions. Or else you're going to be sitting with this vicious cycle that year in and year out, no matter what interventions you put through, if you don't have the right people to be able to absorb and develop themselves, you're not going to have the required results as well.
Now, Mr. Lorgat, does it mean, though, that municipalities are not capable of dealing with the supply chain and procurement challenges that they are faced with on a daily basis?
I think the one thing to acknowledge out of this whole thing is supply chain regulations and legislation is quite a complex area. So what my answer is yes and no. In some instances, municipalities do have the ability to deal with those complex issues regarding supply chain. And in other areas, municipalities do struggle quite a bit with that. So we are hoping that through this support program that we're going to be rolling out to them, by and large, the number of municipalities will be able to comply with those regulations will improve. And over time, you'll see a better result in terms of supply chain management regulations and the adherence there too.
Now, the Auditor-General's report also found that many municipalities did not even have basic record-keeping systems. Are you planning to deal with that too? Because that's one of the key issues.
Yes. Maybe let me just quickly unpack for you. Salga's Municipal Audit Support Program is premised on 4 basic pillars. Those pillars are basically leadership, governance, financial management, and institutional capacity. Now, the issue of basic record keeping, etc., will fall under the financial management pillar, where we say that the basic financial disciplines that the municipality needs to be performing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, etc., does take place. And obviously, it's a holistic approach. So once you've got the right people, once you've got the right disciplines taking place, etc., once the tone is set from the top in terms of the leadership, and once you've built up the institutional capacity, then we feel that these are all the ingredients to basically put into the pot to make sure that there's a recipe for success for municipalities going forward.
But the question then is, Mr. Lorgat, do you have the manpower? Because we are talking about 10% of these municipalities are standing out as ones that has got clean orders. 90% is quite a large number.
Yes. Salga on its own does not have the manpower. Hence, we are going to be working very closely with our counterparts and our colleagues at National Treasury, the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. We're also going to be trying to rope in district municipalities in certain districts where the district municipality is quite strong. And in the other element we've also identified for support is Salga has other partners that we are dealing with from the private sector. So your professional accountancy bodies, your professional accountancy firms, etc., they also will be part of this overall program. And basically, you know, in terms of doing that, we'll then be able to get to all of the municipalities that we need to, because we understand the scale of the issue is quite large.
Mm-hmm. There's also the issue of corruption. How are you going to tackle corruption? Is that part of the MASP plan?
The issue of tackling corruption is definitely part of the MASP plan. And as I mentioned, one of the key issues that the Auditor-General identified was the issue of the lack of consequences. Now, obviously, corruption is an example. One of them may be financial misconduct or maybe financial mismanagement, etc. And what has happened was recently, around 2 or 3 months ago, there has been new regulations that has been issued called financial misconduct regulations. Now, those regulations actually talk about what needs to happen when financial misconduct or financial mismanagement is identified by both the political level as well as the administrative level as well. So now Salga, together with Treasury and Department of Cooperative Governance, is going to be developing a consequence management framework that is based and also takes, you know, from that actual financial misconduct regulations. And we are hoping that if once that is enacted and that is basically implemented at municipalities, it will then have consequences for misdemeanors of corruption, financial misconduct, etc. And we hope it will deter and improve in that regard.
Now, when will the Municipal Audit Support Program be implemented, Ms. Lorgat?
Over the next 2 months, we are planning to actually go out to the municipalities. What we've identified is we cannot go to all 278 municipalities or even 10% of them, because, you know, you've got to start somewhere. So what we've targeted for this first year of the implementation of MASP is to target those municipalities that have had the worst audit outcomes. So the Auditor-General, he reports on municipalities who've had adverse and disclaimer audit opinions, together with those municipalities who have not finalized their audits, and those numbers 79 municipalities. So over the next 2 months, those 79 municipalities will be basically targeted. We will be trying to meet with them, and we're going to be developing support plans for those municipalities. And the actual then deployment or the actual commencement of the MASP, the practical, work will start probably in October. In October. This year.
And when do you expect results to be shown then once MAPS is implemented in these municipalities?
Okay. We're going to be working on obviously increments of 1 year cycles, because the audit cycle follows a 1 year, financial period. So we're going to be starting to measure our actual impact of the MASP from the next audit cycle, or from the next financial year, which basically will end on the 30th of June 2015. And we'd then like to see how we've had an impact, and actually see where we can refine the program and make sure we're actually making the required impact.
Well, we'll hold you to that, Mr. Lorgat, and we'll come back to you to find out what happens next year when we get the results.
Thank you very much. We look forward to it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mohammed. That was Salga National Program Director on the line to us, the Municipal Audit Support, Mohammed Lorgat, talking to us about the multidisciplinary, target-driven and customized Municipal Audit Support Program called MASP. And we all hope that it works out for them. Now,